In Ionia's central province of Bahrl, a hidden mountain settlement once stood. The village of Wuju was known for the ancient martial art of the same name. Its practitioners were capable of moving at incredible speeds, their blades an extension of their very bodies. Today, only one disciple of Wuju remains, a renowned bladesman who has tempered his body and mind in dedication to continuing the legacy of his people. This is the story of Master Yi. Yi grew up in the village of Wuju, chasing a dream that would one day turn to ash in his mouth. Like most children, he admired those who wore silk robes and carried blades, the names of which were the stuff of ballads and poems. His parents being swordsmiths, Yi made a strong impression on the local warriors who frequented their workshop. He spent his mornings in the garden, sparring with his mother, and his nights reciting poetry to his father by candlelight. When it came time for Yi to study under Wuju's masters, his parents could not have been prouder. With an unmatched talent and discipline, Yi surpassed all expectations in his years of training. Soon the whole village knew of the promise and renown of young Master Yi. Still, the humble student often cast his eyes to the horizon, wondering about the rest of Ionia. From atop the tallest pagodas he spotted faraway towns, the names of which were never mentioned, yet when he sought to journey down the mountain with blade in hand, his mentors forbade him. Wuju was founded by those believing their swordsmanship to be too precious to share, too sacred to draw blood, and for centuries the village flourished in isolation. This idyllic life, maintained under the shroud of seclusion and relative anonymity, all fell away the day Yi saw vast plumes of smoke rising above the distant towns. Noxian warbands had invaded from the coast, conquering settlement after settlement that left the provinces awash in blood. Choosing the people of Ionia over Wuju's hallowed tradition, Yi ventured to help defend the first lands. The boy astonished onlookers as he swept across the battlefields in a blur of swordplay never before seen. Word of Yi spread far and wide, like mist rolling across the mountains. Inspired by his courage, even his fellow disciples joined the fight, and together they journeyed to Navori, where the greater war was raging. The Noxian commanders saw in Wuju a threat that could not be ignored. They sought to strike at their home without mercy. In a single night, the entire village was destroyed, its people and culture obliterated by a new weapon, an alchemical fire that no steel could hold back. The war having finally ended, Yi returned to Wuju, the only surviving disciple, where he found nothing but ruins and burnt, barren earth. The very magic of the land had been defiled, and everyone he had known and loved was lost. With no surviving practitioners of Wuju, he realized the title of master was his to bear alone. Grief-stricken, he returned to the seclusion that had, for so long, kept Wuju safe. Yi trained obsessively to bury the guilt of his survival, but the wisdom of bygone masters seemed to fade with the haze of time. He began to doubt if one man could preserve an entire people and tradition. One day, when the legacy of his people felt all but lost, a curious, monkey-like Vastaya challenged Yi to a duel. Reluctantly, Master Yi entertained the creature's demands, defeating him with ease. But the Vastaya refused to give up, returning day after day with increasingly clever tricks that forced Yi to react and improvise. For the first time in years, Yi felt the spirit of Wuju once more. The two clashed for weeks, until the bruised stranger finally knelt on the ground and introduced himself as Kong of the Shimon tribe. He pleaded to learn under Yi's tutelage, Yi saw in this reckless but determined fighter the makings of a new disciple. Through teaching, Yi found his purpose restored. He would pass on the ways of Wuju. He gifted his pupil an enchanted staff and an honorific as a sign of this vow. From that day onward, Kong was known as Wukong. Together, they now travel the First Lands as Yi seeks to honor the legacy of his lost home, allowing him to embody the master in his name and the weight of an entire civilization that this title bears.